Chapter 59. So that's it. I'm not going, I told Lupe at the school the next day. I can't believe this, she said. Did they say who won? I shook my head. I bet it was their cousin or their son or something stupid like that, she said. It couldn't have been your essay. I read your essay. It was so good. It felt good to hear her say that, although a part of me still wasn't sure. We were sitting on the grass in PE, way out in the left field, avoiding the ball and any chance of injury, as usual. Lupe picked up a blade of grass and twirled it around her finger. You know, I'm kind of glad you're not going, she said. So you don't have to stay with Jason all by yourself? I asked, squinting at her in the sun. So I don't have to stay on the roller coaster all by myself, she whispered. It occurred to me at the moment what it would have been like for Lupe if I had left. I always thought I was the one who needed her, that I was the barnacle to her whale. But it wasn't one way. We needed each other, me and Lupe. She had been trying to tell me this all along, but it never really hit me until now. Well, you don't have to worry, I said. I'm not going anywhere. Lupe smiled at me. I'll be on the roller coaster for a long, long time, I said. Lupe shook her head. Nope, you're not. You're getting off, she said. We're both getting off together. She put her hand on top of mine, and I looked down at our two hands on the grass. Later that day, after we had filed back into class, Mrs. Douglas turned to us and clapped our signal. As everyone sat up in their seats and listened up, she turned to me. Mia, will you please come up to the front of the class? Mrs. Douglas asked. I glanced worriedly at Lupe as I got up and walked over. Now, class, you all remember the stories I asked you to write a while back about a small moment in your life? Mrs. Douglas asked. My heart jumped to my throat. Mia here wrote about what it was like to come to America on the airplane, she said. Anyway, the other fifth grade teachers and I got together, and we read everyone's story, and we all agreed that Mia's story. She paused for what felt like an eternity. I squeezed my eyes shut. Is absolutely wonderful. Wonderful. My jaw dropped. Mrs. Douglas handed me the story, my story. Mia, will you please read your story to the rest of the class? I blinked at Mrs. Douglas, waiting for her to say, oh, wait, there's been a mistake. Was this going to be like the chocolate notebook again? I told myself, do not feel warm and fuzzy, not yet. But then I snuck a peek down at my paper. There were red marks all over it, just like the last time, and lots of exclamation marks. But they didn't scream bad grammar. In shouty cast, they said things like, moved me to tears, and oh, Mia, this is incredible. Go on, Mrs. Douglas said. Read your story to the class. Right now? I asked. Douglas nodded. With trembling hands, I took it from her and slowly began to read. As I read, my voice wavered. My throat was prickly, my lips dry. Still, I pushed forward in my tiny voice. When I finished reading, the whole room was silent. Everyone's eyes were on me. I stood so still. If a breeze swept through the classroom, I would have fallen. And then, amid the deafening silence, I heard a sound, the sound of clapping. I looked up to see Lupe clapping. A few kids joined her, and soon almost everyone in the room was clapping, even Jason Yao. I felt my throat pinch with emotion. That was beautiful, Mrs. Douglas said. I looked up at the swelling pride in her face and instantly forgave her for giving away my sparkly pencil. Thank you, Mrs. Douglas, I said, and started going back to my seat. Wait, Mrs. Douglas said. I have something for you. She reached inside her desk and pulled out a small piece of paper, which she handed to me. I peered at the words Pizza Hut written on it. Two free pizzas at Pizza Hut for you and a friend, she said. I looked up at Mrs. Douglas. I looked into her eyes. Are you sure? Are you sure there hasn't been a mistake? When enough time passed and I was finally sure she wasn't going to take it away, I looked over at Lupe. Her eyes sparkled with excitement.